Okay, welcome everyone to this alumni and students panel session for the Executive Diploma in Financial Strategy here at the University of Oxford, Said Business School. My name is Sara Nema. I am the Recruitment Manager for the program, and today I am joined by the program alumnus Giuseppe Caputo and program current students Fiona Knight and Wei Walker. During the session, please post your questions using the Q&A function. We will answer them towards the end. But before that, I will kick off with some key and quick facts about the Diploma in Financial Strategy. The Executive Diploma in Financial Strategy is a specialized postgraduate qualification taught at master's level and is awarded by the University of Oxford Said Business School. This diploma is built on 4 core modules that are completed individually within 1 year with exams and assignment at the end. In between modules, what you will mainly be doing is basically pre and post readings, but mainly exam and assignment preparation. 3 modules will be assessed by an online open book exam. So these are strategy, business finance, and corporate valuation will be assessed by an exam each. However, module 4, financial strategies for growth, will be assessed by a 6,000 words assignment. We have designed this diploma to be in a deliberately accessible format by making it part-time over 12 months so that students can remain at work but also apply lessons learned in practice. The next intake will start on Wednesday, 26th of January 2022. And the fee is around £27,500. So the last intake started with 35 students, and the rest of the numbers is what we typically have on this diploma classes. You can see, for example, the average age is 39, and students have an average of 15 to 16 years of work experience. You can, from the numbers on screen, you can see that there's a wealth of diversity in the cohorts, which is what the program students certainly benefit from, and that's what we will hear from our panelists shortly. And so, thank you. So, to find out more about exactly that, about the Oxford experience, about the program alumni and students experience, I would like to introduce our panel members here, Giuseppe, Fiona, and Wei. If you have any questions for our panelists, then please post them in the Q&A function. We will try and answer as many of those. Very warm welcome and thank you very much for joining us today, Fiona, Wei, and Giuseppe. May I please ask each one of you to introduce yourselves? And Fiona, would you like to start, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Fiona Knight. I'm currently a Senior Credit Manager at Standard Chartered Bank, a role I've been in for 1 year now. My role is to basically oversee our corporate and commodity trading from a risk management perspective, as well as our gold bullion and precious metals trading. I've been in the industry for about 10 years and I began my career at Moody's, the credit rating agency. And I got this job halfway through the course, and a lot of that was thanks to this course.
Thanks, Fiona. Giuseppe, over to you.
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Giuseppe. I'm 42. I'm Italian, as you can see from my name. I'm Vice President for Finance for the EMEA region and Asia Pacific and the Nordics of Just Forwarding, which is a global freight forwarder. So the industry is logistics. I have experience in the past. My background is mainly on energy, and I used to work in many corporations and the energy industry, so in oil and gas, natural gas, and renewables. Now I've spent I've joined the 2019 edition of the program, and yeah, I can say was a very big game changer for me, that experience. So, and I really see that I really had saw a transformation of myself and my career thanks to this diploma. So that's also the reason why I accepted the really. I was very happy to accept this invitation. So
thanks, Giuseppe.
That's me.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that later in the session. Wei Wei, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Wei Wei Walker. I currently reside in Australia. I originally came from a small town in China and came here about over 10 years ago. And my major career is in consulting. I only worked in consulting, but I am a trained engineer, and I have done many things, including finance and corporate law. I even did part-time training in law. But what has been stand out from this program is that it's very combinational, and it has integrated all my past working experience, and also was able to navigate me into my future career. I'm currently studying a fund which is focusing on the space economy and cross borders, focused on Australia and also European countries. So I look forward to speaking to you more. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Wei Wei. Giuseppe, I would like to go back to you. So you started the program in 2019. So why did you decide to apply for the Diploma in Financial Strategy? What were you looking to achieve at that point in your career?
Great. Well, this time in 2019, I was at a stage, I was working actually in asset management for a large...
Can you hear me well?
Okay. So I was working for a large asset management firm in the city. However, I was not satisfied with the career progression opportunities in my role. I was very much having to wait for my boss to move on, which he was going to. And there were also no opportunities for me to grow professionally. I was looking to move from my senior analyst position into a more management position with a view to moving up to board level eventually. But I had no opportunities to really work on issues that affected departments across the board or affected the firm at a higher level, so strategic stuff that affected the trajectory of the business, where our future direction lay. And I felt without that experience, I really wouldn't have the skills and knowledge to move on to a more senior role. And I realized after work was unable to provide it for me, I would have to go out and find it myself. So after reviewing several courses and different options, I came across this diploma at Oxford, and it seemed to have everything I needed. It seemed to offer a toolbox of different skills and knowledge that were very practical based, and I could immediately see there's ways I could apply it to my job in order to apply for more senior roles and potentially look outside my firm for other senior roles. I felt once I had that experience, I could potentially apply to different companies, and who would see what I had done and see that I had the experience and then take me on in a higher role. And that's what happened. So I spent I did modules 1 and 2 in my first role. Halfway through that, a job opportunity came along. They were very interested in what I was doing and what I was learning, because they knew those skills would be applicable in the new role that they were interviewing me for. And I got the job. So I've been doing that role for the past year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fiona. Wei Wei, how about you? How did you decide to apply, and what were you looking to achieve at that point?
My motivation of starting this course is to just combine, as probably I have mentioned before, just to combine my past experience and to navigate into the new sort of career, but not to further away from my past experience. And I did look into the content of the curriculum, and I noticed that it has very practical, meaty content. It's not just a very, very, I don't know, broad courses like certain EMBA or MBA courses. It provides, for example, the asset pricing, valuation skills, and we had great faculties like, world-class faculties. They even co-authorized the book with Daniel Kahneman. Can you believe that? And I think the academia's strength and also the content itself really attracted me. Obviously, the reputation of the school and also the collegial experience, as we expected, not if we were not disturbed by the COVID, would be great. However, even without the experience in the campus, I think it is still a very, very good investment. To be honest, I think it is by far the best investment I have done for myself. I really recommend it.
Wow, that's great to hear. Thanks, Wei.
Thank you.
Giuseppe, I hope you can hear us okay now.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a problem with my connection. I think now it's okay.
Perfect. So I don't know if you heard my question. I was asking Wei and Fiona about their motivation, why they've decided to study the Diploma in Financial Strategy, and I've asked what were you looking to achieve at that point?
Yeah, it was. I mean, when we started together with my boss evaluating this program, and was a moment, I mean, for our company, an important moment of change, and there was a very the industry was under a transformation. It is under transformation still today, but in that moment was a moment to go and make several acquisitions, which we are doing now actually. So but we recognize internally that we didn't have in the past and the competencies, okay, and skills, and to guide the process of acquisitions. And so we believe that program was exactly what we were looking for, because it was not too long, let's say, not too short, but pretty comprehensive and holistic in this sense, and touching different topics that we were like investment valuation and value creation measurements, and all the techniques, okay, that we want to we are now using today for the valuation side, but also for the strategy part. So the 4 modules actually were what we were looking for. So we decided that was a good investment in terms of time, energy, money, etc. And that was as I said before, was absolutely a very good investment, because I was personally looking for some to expand my competences and vision, and also the reputation of the school, of course, was a very attractive factor, and it is recognized. I mean, so also internally, let me say, in terms of internal reputation, not only external, but internal reputation, to have anyway to get the diploma was recognized by the other colleagues, and also because they see, okay, you are busy with the job, so we know how busy we are and you are, but you did it, and so and you did it in Oxford. So it was recognized like an extra effort, and then also in terms of reputation internally, I have to say, to be honest, that is a great is a good recognition, and it's an asset, it's a value in your profile, and also internally when you find the energy and the strength and the time to do this, which is anyway demanding. I don't hide it, but you bring back to the company, to yourself, a very big value. That was the reasons why we decided was the case to apply for this diploma.
Fantastic. Thank you, Giuseppe, and thank you, Fiona and Weiwei, for introducing yourselves and earlier and sharing more about your motivation for studying the Diploma in Financial Strategy. Can I have the next slide, please? Wonderful. So for the next part of today's session, I would like to ask our panelists to please pick a theme about the program from the image on the screen and talk about it in relation to your experience on this diploma and your experience learning with Oxford. Weiwei, would you like to start, pick a theme for us and tell us more about it, please?
Sure. Maybe I'll pick a few. I think, again, I'm a very academic kind of oriented person. I'm quite quant myself. So this is why I like the content of the curriculum, but I want to encourage those who probably is in fear of, oh, you know, how much, you know, math I need to have before I actually do this course. It's actually not that much. As long as you prepare, you really participate and plan. So it is going to be very enjoyable because your cohort is going to help you, and your professors are really nice, and you will also have tutors, and you have, you know, a private group, study groups. I think the overall experience is very enjoyable. So I think that's the first theme I would like to talk about. Maybe, you know, in align with that, the faculty, as I have mentioned before, the strategy professor is very well known, and also the finance professor, as well as the merger and acquisition professor, they're very well known in their area. They're not just academics, they're also the experts in the field. They have you know, decades of experiences. So you definitely get a world-class and diverse academia under your belt, and you are really looked after from academic perspective. And I think from the impact perspective, many people think, okay, what I can do to impact after I do this course. I think, you know, from the cohort perspective, first of all, you will meet multinational network people, not only in your industry. So we're quite diverse across different industries. We even have someone who, you know, works in, I believe he is in like a food processing, you know, who looks after the chickens or something, meat. But from that perspective, I felt I actually learned a lot from him. Comparing to my background of like consulting, and you have people like Fiona herself, she's from banking, and we have people who actually worked in the investment, and also others like myself worked in consulting, but they're all kind of senior, they're already senior in their positions or companies. You have a cross-industrial cohort, and they are already very inspiring. Of course, it's mutual way you can inspire them as well. They will probably give you the same feedback. Okay, I learned a lot from you too. So therefore, I think it is actually very relevant, because I remember in the first course, which is the strategy course, even I think myself is quite nervous when I speak publicly, but we have very diverse cohort. They always talk, so I don't have to like always talk, but I learn a lot from their very vibrant discussions, and also they're not just like casual discussions. They're very rigorous academic in serious discussions, and also very broad in the practical way. So I think from the relevance perspective, you will find that it is relevant to your business. And definitely, lastly, I think it's worth it. As I said before, it's the best investment decisions I have made in my life. That's all. Thank you. I think you're muting.
Thank you. I was just saying, it was really interesting to hear how you found it a cohort-focused learning experience. So thanks for sharing your insights. Fiona, over to you. Just the same, if you'd like to pick a few themes about your experience learning on this program and learning with Oxford.
Okay, great, thank you. I will start with relevance, because I think it's something everyone wants to know. Will they be able to take what they learn on the course and apply it to their own personal situation? And from my perspective, the answer is very much yes. And I can give you two examples of this. Firstly, in the role that I do on a day-to-day basis, I'm often looking at businesses that are acquiring new subsidiaries or selling off parts of their business. And I think in advance, I wouldn't have really known where to start with that. But the two modules that we have done, module 1 and 4, which were strategy and M&A, has actually really given me a good framework on how to begin looking at those and understanding them. So when I see a business is maybe acquiring another business, I can really look at how this will trigger growth. If it will trigger growth, is there a good fit and feel between the two businesses? Because we've learned a range of frameworks on which you can judge these types of decisions. In the same way I can do it with my own firm and with my own career progression. There are opportunities to move around the firm and to move upwards in the firm. And I can sort of assess, I can look at the different departments, how they work together, and figure out which ones will benefit me the best, where I can fill in my gaps in experience. And I can really relate a lot more to what my bank is doing, simply because I've now got the skills, that the strategic skills in particular, in terms of business growth, our growth and our clients' growth. It opened my eyes to a lot of things I never used to understand. So now when I'm reading newspapers like the FT, and they're going through industry growth and industry recessions, I really have a more critical eye now. And I think this is an overlooked part of what the course gives you. If you're like me and you went to university many, many moons ago, you may have sort of not used your critical thinking skills in a while. You may have just sort of got into a habit of doing things a certain way. I think the approach that Oxford has taken, the discipline in thought and approach to challenges at work, really reactivated that part of my brain I haven't really used since university. It reminded me how to think, how to critically appraise situations that were in front of me. And this applies to all different types of situations, not just simply work situations. But it reminded me how to think academically and how to think logically, stripping out the subjectivity. And I think that's a very undervalued aspect of this course, but which nevertheless has really surprised me in how useful it's become, because I think the quality of my work has improved simply because my arguments flow more easily and are more logical and easier to follow. So I think for me, that's been one of the major unexpected takeaways of this course. In addition to the skills I've learned how to think again properly. For the second theme, I'm going to grasp the nettle and go for sacrifices, because I'm sure that's a question that's in the back of many people's minds. I know it was certainly in the back of mine when I started this course. And of course, you will have to think about the time you have to devote to study. This isn't an easy course. You won't just get to sit back and watch a few lectures, that's it. You will be required to work. So I did sit back and think quite, I gave a lot of thought into how I was going to do the work and how I was going to find time in my schedule. But having done that, it's actually worked for me quite well. So at the moment, I'm writing my final integrative essay for the course. And my general structure of the day is I get my work out of the way by, say, early evening-ish, and then I can give an hour or two each evening to my assignment. There are some things that crop up from time to time, but in general, I found that's worked really well for me, and it's instilled a type of discipline for me. I do have, at the moment, I'm doing a little bit of work on the weekend, and again, that's a sacrifice, but I know come January, when I submit my final assignment, I'm free and it's done, and I should hopefully then just get to sit back and reap the rewards of what I've written. So that there are sacrifices, but I believe I have gained far more than I've lost by doing this course. And if I had to do it again, I would do so in a heartbeat.
I'm on mute again. Brilliant. Thank you, Fiona. Giuseppe, over to you. Again, would you like to pick a few themes about your experience with Oxford and on the program and tell us about it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, all of the themes are really important here. I mean, and I understand, I mean, all the people, all the applicants can have questions and doubts about the program. So, but really, what I can say in a few words is that, okay, I can talk about the format because as said, this was for me the best in the market, let me say, because it was offering a great brand, a great program, a great list of the best list of topics. So that was actually for the specific, for the financial strategy in general concept and the business valuation. This was the best format I can find in still today in the market. So, and was balancing in terms of time and time commitment and effort was pretty balanced. So when we talk about the work-life balance as well, it's an important point because many people, many of us, they have family and or other businesses, and I mean there is a lot of kind of there is every kind of various profiles, let's say from CEO to entrepreneurs or CFO, etc. So they have different kind of lifestyle, but all of us, we have our private life as well. And to combine the program with the private life and our work, it's demanding. It's a challenge, but you must just be a good time manager and just program and organize your life during the weekend. For example, you should dedicate time to study. In any case, you cannot, because I mean, otherwise you cannot be prepared for the next exam. And there is a lot of also teamworks, and so you need to coordinate your agenda with the other agendas. So manage the time is super important to have a good work-life balance. But you can do that. I have 2 kids, to be honest, and when I joined the program, they were even smaller than now, okay, so younger. They were 4 and 7, so it was pretty difficult for my wife, okay, also to leave me study during the weekend. So they were all the weekends they were dedicated to studying. So but it was fine because I mean you can if you enjoy it and you like it, you can also take with the right approach, let me say, this kind of sacrifice, okay? And so, and the people around you will understand as well. So it's a very important moment for, not for yourself, but also for your family or friends, and because this is an investment of not only of your time, but also of their time, but the return is absolutely worth it. So, and everybody recognized that was at the end was the right decision. So the relevance of this program is clear. So we said, I mean, you can you have a fantastic team supporting you. I mean, I'm talking about the staff, okay, Sara and all the others, and also the teachers and professors. They always give you a great support, so you can feel how relevant is this experience when you leave, when you are there, or when you connect with the team. But what I can say was wrong with one assumption when I joined the program. I was wrong believing that only the staff and the professors were the real, and the brand were the real value, okay, of this program. But the cohort in reality, and also the classmates, that those those people, they were just really giving me so much value in every kind of second and conversation we had together. So enjoying time, so you can enjoy a lot of the time together with them, but also the connection with them. So you create a fantastic network. I have still today daily WhatsApp with all of them, exchanging opinions, not only talking about every kind of funny stuff because you enjoy time, maybe you have party, but maybe you have a dinner. But when I travel, because I mean, for my job, I'm now less, of course, for the COVID, but traveling for business or for pleasure, you have, I mean, you have classmates everywhere. So when I go to Germany, I can have a meeting and a dinner with one classmate, or I go to Japan, same story, because you have so many nationalities, and you also get so much value from them in terms of advices from the professional point of view. So I had recently a big project, an acquisition, and I was stuck in evaluation of this company because I was not in agreement with the seller, and we were discussing, and I got the right solution from one of my classmates in Croatia that is working in the M&A industry, and he gave me the solution just simply by calling him and say, "Hey, Dario, can you help me on this?" And he say, "Of course, that's my bread and butter." So, and was done. So in general, I really love the fact that you can learn so much from the school, but also from the cohort. I mean, it's like to have, for me, it was like to have like 40 super consultants, okay, for free, helping me on every kind of topic and industry, because they come from different industries and different also departments. So whatever I want to know better, I have these friends, okay, helping me still today, I have to say. And that for me was astonishing, because I didn't realize that until I joined, and that when I was starting talking to the classmates, I said, okay, this is not just the master, okay, this is much more, because all of them are changing my perspective and giving me new ideas. So that was definitely impactful. So, and this is what I can say in a few words, but we can talk for hours. So.
That's great, Giuseppe. And actually, I have a question for you. Having completed the program, is there anything you would do differently?
It's hard to say, to be honest. Differently. No, I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know. There's nothing I want to change about the experience. Maybe no, I don't have any regret. Any regret? No, to be honest, it was from my perspective was perfect. So there's nothing I can change about the experience. Maybe the weather in UK. So.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Giuseppe. So Fiona and Wei, I've got also one more question for you. So now you are actually about to finish the program, I believe, in early January. So what advice would you give to someone who is about to start this program? Wei, would you like to?
Sure. I think I only can tell from the lessons I have learned is that you always prepare, like before you go to the class, and you participate no matter what, because when you do participate, you actually get much more. I think that is like kind of active learning, like two-way learning. And then in terms of exam, I believe everyone is fearful of exam, but like Giuseppe mentioned that if you are a great time manager, you can do it. Like Giuseppe, he's got like a distinction of the course, which is like what we look up to, And I think really like a preparation, time management, and also have fun and enjoy it, really. So if you have a great attitude towards it, you will get much more out of it. And if I have to say one thing I would like to change, I wish I had magic, just let the COVID just disappear. I think, make everyone's life easier.
Yeah, wish that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wei. How about you, Fiona? Do you have any advice for someone who's about to start the program next year?
Two pieces of advice from me. Firstly, going back to what the other two have said, I completely agree about time management. Make sure you have a good think about when you will slot in these studies into your life, because they will be a big part of your life, not just when you're studying, but people will be asking you about it. Your employers will want to know how you're getting on, when you can apply the lessons. But you really need to make sure that you have carved out a period of time where you'll be able to sit down and focus on the work, because it's demanding and it's rigorous. As rewarding as it is, it will take a lot out of you. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything else being at Oxford, but make sure you have that identified in advance. The second and probably most important issue for me is make sure you really enjoy the experience. As Wei said, you attend everything you can, network after with the connections you make, really immerse yourself in this experience, because it is so unique. It's such a once in a lifetime opportunity. You won't be doing this for more than a year. So get everything out of it that you can. Ask questions, don't be shy. Everyone is new, everyone doesn't know each other. So don't hold back, really throw yourself into it, because you'll very much get out what you put into this course. So approach it with an open mind and a willingness to learn and make connections, and you'll have a whale of a time.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Fiona, and thank you to our panelists. I really did enjoy hearing about your experiences, and really pleased with how positive this has been. So I will actually now move to the last part. We've got a question here. So we have a question here to do with funding. I will answer that after the event. But we also have a question actually from one of the attendees saying, will any of the panelists recommend the course to ex-Deloitte consulting manager with one failed startup in alternative energy and later 7 years on reforming the government of Ukraine? I'm not in M&A business and it's likely too late to move to IB.
I can try and answer that one if I may. You very much told us there what you've done, but that doesn't say anything what you want to do. For me, this course was always very forward-looking and it slotted into where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to move to a senior level. I kind of knew I wanted to move roles and that I wouldn't be able to do it unless I had certain key skills. What the questioner needs to ask himself or herself is that, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? How can this course slot into where you have gaps or deficiencies in your knowledge? So I don't think it really matters what you've done, it's where you're going it's very important. So if you look at this course and you see that it can help support where you want to get to and make that journey easier, then very much so. But it very much think about the future rather than what you have done. Think about where you want to go.
Thank you. Thanks very much for answering that, Fiona. We are currently considering applications for the January 2022 intake. To apply, you are required to submit an online application, which includes a CV, 2 essays, 2 professional references, and degree transcripts showing marks per subject. Successful applicants have a strong academic and professional background with over 5 years relevant work experience. The final deadline to be considered for the 2022 intake is Monday, 6th of December, but we might still be accepting applications after this date if places are available. And in terms of next steps, if you are interested in having a detailed conversation on your candidacy, then please request a virtual meeting with myself or submit your CV for review. I'll be happy to provide some initial feedback on your suitability, but also you can start an application directly via our website. I hope you enjoyed today's session, but you can save the date and sign up for our next online event, which is on Wednesday, 17th of November at 1 p.m. GMT. During this sample lecture, Dr. Kena Komura, the program director, will present a case study on the corporate governance and valuation of the e-commerce group, THG, formerly known as the HUD Group, and its subsequent 20% drop in share value. So the joining instructions for this event will be sent out to you shortly, along with a recording of this session. These are my contact details on the screen. Please reach out if you are interested in applying. Thank you very much to our panelists, Giuseppe, Fiona, and Weiwei. Again, really appreciate your insights and your time. And thank you everyone for joining us today.